I love the coastal region. I love the coastal estuaries and everything that makes this thing different than someplace else. It's a wonderful thing, and we have to preserve it. If we don't, we're going to lose the most important things in life.
Marine spatial planning sounds a lot more complicated than it really is. It's really just about being smart about how we use our oceans. Over the last couple hundred years, we've kind of treated the ocean the same way we treat the gold rush. It's sort of a first come, first serve attitude, and over that time, there's been an increasing amount of use. And there's a bunch of emerging and new uses and increasing uses. The ocean's getting crowded. So instead of kind of having this sort of prospector approach, Wild West approach, it's time to get smart and get organized about how we use the coast to make sure we can protect all the things that we already do on the coast that we love, whether it's fishing or surfing or and supporting our economy. And so we're going to try to figure out a plan that makes all those things fit together. So it's really about how using the ocean in a wise way.
Well, for me, marine spatial planning is a way to figure out what the future of the ocean looks like. We know development's coming. We see proposals on the coast all the time. So it's kind of a way just to take stock of what we have and make sure that we're protecting the marine ecosystem and protecting recreation and other human uses.
I love the beauty of it. I love the ruggedness, the richness of wildlife, and the pristine sense that you get when you get out on the coast. And I love to be walking in on low tide after a good surf session and see an octopus scamper through a tide pool, or an otter running up on the beach while we're sitting in the water. We see a couple of river otters running and playing.
Marine spatial planning presents an opportunity for the stakeholders to comment and participate in the planning of the uses on the ocean.
We work with fishermen, we work with shellfish growers, we work with people from the ports, we work with surfers. We work with all different kinds of people that just somehow have a stake in the ocean or the beaches or the resources and want to make sure that that use is protected or represented in a state plan.
The concept of marine spatial planning is collecting information from all stakeholders to find out how the coast is utilized by all these different stakeholders, so that should major wave turbine energy collection devices or anything like that be installed in the near future, that they don't disrupt those habitats and those recreational uses and commercial uses and special interest group uses.
It's kind of a trip because a lot of people out here live a really simple life, and people are going to start buying property out here, and it's going to change.
If there's a horrible giant condo project proposed in the middle of your town and they hold a city council meeting, everyone's going to show up with pickets and posters and say, no way, we don't want that project. But if you do the Community 2050 visioning process, nobody ever goes. So one of the challenges here is to compel people to go get involved in this process on the front end. I mean, the reason they should get involved is we can actually protect all of our spots, or at least get a long way towards doing that in one fell swoop.
Well, as a surfing community, we're constantly playing defense. We're fighting these crappy development proposals that we see all the time. So this is a chance for us to be proactive and actually sort of communicate to decision makers, we've got some special uses here, and not only is surfing popular, but it brings a lot of benefits to the coast. So this is a way to sort of, instead of fighting these projects, to say, hey, we can have a voice in kind of what the future of our coast looks like.
This is what we do, this is where we live and where we love to be, and it just makes the most sense to be as friendly as we can to preserve this environment, so we get to do it and our children get to do it for decades to come.
Well, surfing. I love surfing here in the water, the ocean, and the clean air, clean water, friendly people, seafood. Yeah, just, I love it all.
I think that there's a lot to be said for having a conscience and caring about, you know, the next generations and what we're leaving them with.
It's the freedom of the ocean and the bays and being able to hunt and fish and make a living off the natural resources, and it's just a wonderful way of life.
If surfers love their special places up here, which are magical, this is sort of the best opportunity they're going to ever have in recent times to get ahead of all those problems and keep those places the way they love them. You know, so if they want to keep the Californians out of Washington, this is a way to keep the California problems out of Washington too.
I had an experience in Indonesia where a boat showed up with a bunch of young Groms, and I was talking to them, and they were all young sponsored rippers, but I was talking about where they were, and they didn't even know what country they were in. They might as well have been in a wave pool. So I thought, how unfortunate. Here's a guy that's maybe 14, 15 years old having the opportunity of a lifetime and not knowing even where he really was on the globe. So I think that's important that we all know where we fit in this space.
As we move from 7 billion people to 10 billion people, there's going to be a lot of increased pressure for development out here. And I think it's important to control that development. There will be development, but it's important to use those resources wisely and to preserve what we can of the ecosystems that we have.
I think people should care about marine spatial planning because anyone that has any use for the ocean or our resources here should care, because they want to make sure that whatever they are using it for is represented in the plan and that they come to the table and have a voice. I think that's really important.
We have a stake in this, and it's our obligation to do something right. And the right thing is to save it for the future. That's our whole lifestyle here. That's what we're about, I guess.